Well, there you are. Again, Charlie Greer podcast today. So, new music released. Before we do, please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to support the channel, the information's in the description for my Cash App. My handle is Charlie Greer Podcast. Again, Cash App, Charlie Greer Podcast. Let's do this. So, I released new music. I uploaded two singles. Actually, that was supposed to be Six Pack and a Toothbrush, and then Instrumental for Now. I should have did something with these a long time ago. It was supposed to be like a 7-inch, like vinyl, Six Pack and the Toothbrush, and then the B-side was going to be Instrumental for Now. But I kind of retired, and I was just like, after decades of just, like putting through the music industry, it's just, and I wrote those songs. I produced them, mixed them. That was recorded like in a home studio. Back in the day, that those recordings are pretty old, but they've never been released. I've never physically released them. I've never done anything with them. And I've got more music. I've been saying on my podcast for the last year or more that I've got stuff that I want to do. I want to release music. I want to do this. I want to do a live stream, like perform live. And I'm sure all that'll be coming down the pipe. But yeah, I finally got around to it. Uploading those last night. So Six Pack and a Toothbrush, I wrote that back in the 90s, like late 90s. It's funny how you like to write songs, like, you got to know how to, so sometimes what I'll do is I will, because it gets intense and, it's like my song, so that hinders your creativity. So what I'll do is I'll write like funny tunes, like just start off writing some kind of silly, or start up making it light and silly. And then some things happen in life where it like kind of just writes itself. So this song, Six Pack and a Toothbrush, was a joke. It was I was visiting Scotty Beers back in the day, and we had been drinking. This is when I used to drink a lot. And so I got up early one morning. I got to his place at night, got up early one morning. It was like on the weekend, and it might have been like something was going on, festive, because we were like cooking and drinking. So I got up early that morning, and I was like, man, I need a toothbrush. I forgot to bring a toothbrush, and they told me where to go. There was like in this town they lived in, it was a small town. There was only like one independent grocery store. So I go in there, and I literally get a 6-pack and a toothbrush, and I set it down at the register to pay. And there's a 6-pack and then a toothbrush sitting on top. And the lady was like, 6-pack and a toothbrush. And it came to me right then. I said, 6-pack and a toothbrush, like funny. We're both laughing. And I walked out, and I thought, I was just, something funny. At the time I was writing a lot of music, and I thought, man, this is 6-pack and a toothbrush. So when I got the Scotty's back to his place, I told him the story. He thought it was funny. I grabbed his acoustic and I discorded it out, and I did bam, done. I didn't write most, I finished, the structure of the song like that. And then over the years, I've kind of, it's a simple song. It's just a funny kind of country song. Yeah, it's what it is. And that was done in one night. We recorded that in one night, recorded, mixed, mastered, done. And that was at the time, Mikey Meehan was in my band, and he plays on 6-pack and a Toothbrush. He's doing background vocals and guitar, and I'm playing guitar and singing as well. And when we were just that night, we were recording it, we're just laughing. This is just like, what? See? But people were like, dude, that's kind of catchy, and it's kind of got that, it's got the speed to it. It's got an urgency to it. It's like a kind of a faster country. Anyway, Instrumental for Now, I wrote that like, again, probably late 90s. And I'd worked on it over and over, thinking that, okay, see, I love instrumentals. I love the Ventures. I love bands that just like do instrumentals. And so My last EP, my CD that I released, Turn Me On Dead Man, that has an instrumental on it called The Come Down. And people are like, "Oh, I love your instrumentals." And I've got more. If I find them, I might upload them. But I've always liked that instrumental kind of vibe. So instrumental for now, I was like, you know what? This might just be another instrumental I do. Um, but I was toying with putting lyrics to it, you know? And so, but then it got to the point when we were playing it, or I was playing it, I was like, you know what? I'll just keep this instrumental. And then on that, that's me playing guitars and Mikey Mayhem playing guitars. Mikey's awesome. He played the solo on both those songs. That's Mikey Mayhem. And the strange thing was, he was my drummer. Matter of fact, wait a minute. He's been my drummer, my bass player. He can play anything. Keyboard. He's like a one-man band. And that's why I had him in my band. I could go in the studio with Mikey, just him and me, and we record an album. And hopefully one day we will. Hopefully I can just grab him and say, hey, come on. Great musician. Great guy. And we just knock those out. Again, simple songs. There's just 3 or 4 chords, not changing the world. You know, it's really, just what I like. And again, like, don't take yourself too seriously. 6-pack and a toothbrush. Come on. It's funny. So I've been planning on releasing more music. I would like to co-op with like an independent label and re-release all my stuff that's out of print. That's easier said than done. Are there now there's all this digital stuff. I might throw those on iTunes or something. Who knows? Perhaps I will. Yeah, I'd like to co-op with a label. Maybe do a licensing deal or something. Who knows? I'm just so out of the game. Like, I don't know anybody that I'm not in contact with, like fanzines or independent labels or promoters, any of that. I'm retired. I haven't, I played a lot of guitar last night, and I was sitting there playing my new Telecaster that I got. I showed it on a podcast a while, this week or last week, and it gets my juices flowing. It's like, man, I need to be playing, but I don't want to get back into the grind of having a band. See, I'm a solo guy now, or I had been for the last, I don't know, 15 years. It was my solo band. So it's like, that's a lot to, you have to, it's just without support. If I had support, I would gladly do it, but it's just me doing it all, booking the rehearsals and this and the gigs and that, writing all the music and this and that, producing and shit. It gets on you. And after a while, I was just burnt out and kind of like bogged down with like decades of being in a band. It's like, oh man, I don't want to do this anymore. Should I just like paint? Yeah, I think I will. I think I'll or start teaching. That's right around the time I started teaching as well. But yeah, I remember that was my last like real recording session. Now, since then, I've worked with other bands, a few other bands, like home recording or small studios or helping people out in their home studio. I used to have in Arcadia, I had like a little setup in my living room, Pro Tools or whatever the fuck. But that was my last recording session. And I think we did that over 2 nights. Like one night we did 6-pack and a toothbrush. And then the next night, I think like on a Friday we did 6-pack and a toothbrush. On a Saturday we did instrumental for now. And then, or no, did we do them both in one night? We might have. We might have done it all in one night. Then I mixed it the next. Who knows? I forget. But and the gear I'm using at the time, I had this. It was a copy. It was made in Korea. It was a Dillion, I think it was. And it was a TV yellow Les Paul Jr. Double cut, 1 pickup, volume tone, kind of a Johnny Thunders looking thing. Awesome guitar, and that pickup, man, it just sounded good. So we used that, and then Mikey Mayhem's like cheap Yamaha acoustic Pardon me. And then we used software. We had like I think it was Line 6 or something. We had like, it's like you could pick the amp. So I picked the because I've never been into like really distorted guitars. I like more like of a 70s, a kind of a rock, break up, but not like, I like punchy. But I don't want it to be too distorted. I'm more like overdrive. And so we used I mean, granted, it's digital, but it was like a 50s Fender uh Tweed maybe, or a Bassman or something like that. Granted, it's digital. No pedals, just the amp within the software, and then just cranked it. Just like push it till it like, Eddie Van Halen. I learned this from him back in the day. Like push it till it's about to die, then back off a notch. That's what we did. And with that 58 Les Paul Jr. copy, it's that's the tone I like. I like this, right after breakup, before it gets too, distorted. And I've always been that way. I've never been like, even with Love Engineer, we just kind of use like natural, we were heavier, but all my solo stuff, it's just rock and roll. That's what it is. Simple 3-chord rock and roll. So yeah, we used because you can pick the model amp you want in this software. And yeah, we used their version of like a 50s, might have been a Tweed Deluxe maybe, or I know it was a model of an older Fender, and just crank it. No distortion in front. That's it. There you go. It's what I like. It's just like what I like to do. And I think the acoustic that Mikey had, that's Yamaha acoustic, literally he got new for like $99. It's like the cheapest acoustic you can buy. Great acoustic, sweet low action. I mean, it's and then we mic that. We actually had a mic, and both of us did rhythm, and both of us played acoustic. I'm not really sure who, what, where. But on the instrumental for now, all the rhythm is done by me. Mikey did the picking in the solo, or whatever you want to call that. I think he nailed it, man. It's telling a story. I mean, and that's kind of a takeoff on the Gale, the ancient kind of like Celtic song, the Gale. Again, I love instrumental music. I've tried to put like an instrumental, like at least one on anything I've released. So go check it out. Thank you if you do. I still would love to release that as a 7-inch, like a vinyl 7-inch. Again, it was supposed to be Six Pack and a Toothbrush with a single. Then the B-side was Instrumental for Now. It never came about. And then that recording was supposed to be on another album that I was working on, or an EP, I should say. I've always released like 5 or 6 song EPs. That's my thing. But it is kind of, again, bogged down with just, especially living in LA and this the whole thing, and not having, keeping a band together is tough enough. But then in LA, there's so many opportunities. I couldn't pay people. So it's like, I might have paid him a little bit, but Mikey, I think, I don't even know if I paid him for that. I think I made him dinner or some shit. But I would love to say, if I did get some kind of like little indie record deal thing, I would try to get Mikey and just go on him. He play the drums, bass, or I could, we go back and forth. A lot of times, like I'll play one because I usually would play the bass on my album. And I'm also under the theory of let's all do solos, and the best one we'll use. I'm not like an egomaniac where like, and Mikey's better than me as far as like soloing. Just to be honest. And again, he can play drums, bass, guitar, friggin' keyboards. He's like he's like Prince or Dave Grohl or something. He's and why why he doesn't have a record. It's just a shame. I know I mean, I've met so many people were like, but he's a cool, laid back dude. He's not one of these manipulators, and a lot of to get shit going, especially in the music industry. You got to be one of these. That wasn't me. I need a lot of leave alone and time to contemplate. But yeah, it is what it is. Check it out. There should be more coming soon. Hopefully, if I get around to it, because I've got to anyway, you don't want to get it all like sounding good and this, that, and the other. But yeah, check it out. Six Pack and a Toothbrush, an instrumental for now. But I love y'all. Be blessed. Cheers.